Welcome to Game Over Entertainment, where I do Walking Dead videos every Wednesday. And this week on the Walking Dead Wednesday, we're talking about the upcoming Season 3 and some things I like to see from it. A little bit of news that we got way back in E3 that I forgot to talk about. And yeah, go ahead and tell me your comments below about what you like to see in Season 3 too as well. Now, during a discussion at E3 with Greg Miller, Joe Stauffer, which is the PR at Telltale Games, implied that Season 3 will be a long ways off. So Season 3 is coming 2016. That's what the word is in the grapevine right now. And will be considerably larger than previous installments. Okay, so considerably larger. So that means we'll be getting more substantial content than what we got in Season 2. I don't know if that equates to either longer episodes or maybe multiple characters that are playable, or perhaps maybe more than the standard 5-episode Telltale recipe. They are currently trying to figure out who the main protagonist is and how the story will tie into Season 2 and the Michonne miniseries. He says we can expect some news about Season 3 after the end of the Michonne miniseries. So it's going to be quite a ways before we get any other information about The Walking Dead Season 3. So here, guys, I just want to mention like some things I think need to happen in Season 3 that will make it even better. Number one, they already mentioned it, but longer episodes. Alright, so the episode length in the Walking Dead Season 2 averaged about maybe an hour 30 minutes to an hour 45 minutes. I would like a little more substance to that if possible. Okay, and some very simple ways they can do that is having interactables within the environment. Stuff you can look at, stuff you examine, but you don't have to. You can progress the storyline if you want to. So it's up to the players how much content they want to take in at one time. And also letting us talk to these characters on an ideal moment where they're all just around and you have the ability to walk up to them and talk to them, learn more stuff about them, and use that in further conversations later on down the line. Alright, that's something that could be implemented back to the series. It was one of the things that was prevalent in Season 1 of the Walking Dead game, and I like to see that kind of return in this one as well. Putting the horror element back in the Walking Dead game. Alright, one thing that I think was kind of downplayed in Season 2 was the fact that we are in a zombie apocalypse. It's still in the horror genre. So make those moments that are actually scary. Make those moments where you actually don't see a walker coming out of the side or attacking you. Do something to keep the players on their feet, having a sense of restlessness within the player, knowing that you don't know what's behind this door, you don't know what's underneath this car, just all kinds of stuff. And you can do that with two ways, either the music or just by having things become out of nowhere, just not foreseeable. So I think we need more of that in the Walking Dead game, just to keep the characters on their feet as well. Because I feel like everybody in Season 2 they weren't really scared of the zombies, and the zombies are still a major threat. That's what the game is kind of about, of surviving in the post-apocalypse, man. So you need to have that kind of tension within the episode. Making a good villain. Alright, now this may sound like that's obvious, and no, I'm not dissing Carver from Season 2. I think he was pretty good, but he was only around for a limited amount of time, and then after Episode 3, without the overshadowing of a lingering threat of a villain on the horizon, I think it kind of died down. The whole atmosphere of the episode, or maybe like the overarching goal. Having a good villain, I think, is very important for that. And I like to see one of those again happen in Season 3. Season 1 did it okay. The villain, he wasn't that strong. His motivations weren't really that clear, especially if you didn't steal from him, which I'm like, okay, dude, what do you want? You're just a child kidnapper. But I think making a good villain is very important. And that's one thing I like to see, man. As far as what I want the villain to do, I just want the villain to have evil intentions, okay? I understand if they flesh him out some more, gives us his past, tell him how you can understand where he's coming from and seeing how he's growing up. That would be awesome. If they really develop a villain out, showing his backstory, telling where he came from, how he became the way he is, and why he thinks the way he thinks. Those are the best villains to me, man. If they can make some type of villain like that in Walking Dead, it'd be amazing. Just not a villain out of circumstance. Like Arvo, he was a villain out of circumstance. These guys meet up, just have a misunderstanding of the situation, okay? Arvo's coming up, Janie supplies. It's a circumstantial situation, okay? And now Arvo's a villain. No, I want a guy who actually means to do evil, or whose total idea of surviving just completely contradicts what my group is going after, or just something like that. More development from our non-playable characters. This is just basically us having these survivors and other groups of our members more fleshed out, so when they're talking about stuff, or when something terrible happens to them, the players will actually feel it. These decisions where you get to choose whether this person lives or die in certain situations will have more gravity to them, will have more meaning to them, okay, because you know where this character is coming from and you know their backstory. It's just more developed, so you as a player will care more about what happens to them, either if you care more to hate them or you care more to love them, either way. But definitely just flesh out these characters a little more if you can. Just tell us more about them than what we see on the surface. We see Rebecca's pregnant. We see that she's a mad black woman who has hormonal problems. We see that. What's below that, man? What's behind that? Get into more depth in these characters would be kind of cool. One playable protagonist. Alright, Telltale's been recently doing this thing with multiple protagonists per show, and I, for the Walking Dead series, would like to stick with one key protagonist, okay? It's been shown that it can be done right with Lee, with Clementine. I think it's a good recipe, and it gives us to focus more on what's going on in this one storyline. I really don't like switching between characters and stuff like that. Definitely not in The Walking Dead, but yeah. And this one's pretty obvious, but more determinate significance. Okay, if you don't know what that means, like these situations that you get in, these forks in the roads where you have these choices, some life or death choices, some go to a different arcing side of the story, or see a different point of view that you wouldn't have seen if you picked another pointed path. Just make them more substantial. Now I know it's all an illusion to end, but your illusion has become so predictable at this point, Telltale, that you can see it happen a mile away, that these guys are not going to be around very long if you choose, they get into a life and death decision, and it's up to you to choose. Situations that these forks come in the road, you already know they're already going to converge, or some stuff is going to happen before the end of the episode that's going to pull these characters or pull everything back into one linear pathway. And I don't know if you can make it so you have different sides of the story with these characters alive and characters dead. There'd be a lot more development time and stuff like that, I know that, but at least do something to increase the illusion that our choices do matter. At least those really big ones where you can really change up the story big time. Okay. And finally, Clementine. Okay, now one of the big things about season 3 and with the episode 2 endings, a lot of people are saying that we may not be able to play as Clementine no more and stuff. If that happens, then it happens, but I do want Clementine involved in the story at some point in time. The game has been very much focused around Clementine, and not having her in the story in some type of way would be an injustice to all the fans you built up so far. So yes, Clementine definitely has to be involved. She doesn't have to be playable, okay? She doesn't have to be, but she needs to be in there. Alright people, so those are my thoughts and what I want in season 3 right now, man. I'm gonna trust it to Telltale to make a good storyline. That's why I'm not really getting too much about what I like to see in the storyline. I trust them to make a good storyline. They're really good at that, so I got no problems with that. Just, give us a good villain, and maybe give our characters a goal. Alright, they need a goal. They were going around pretty aimlessly by the end of Walking Dead season 2. And I didn't appreciate that too much. Just give them something to strive for. Put an idea in their head somewhere to do something and make it sound sensible, okay? And logical. Okay, but yeah, that's all I gotta say, man. Tell me your thoughts about what you like to see in Walking Dead season 3. I can't wait for this game, guys. It's not even close, okay? Pushed back probably into spring or summer 2016. But when the Michonne series does finish up, we actually start getting news about the Walking Dead season 3 again, then I'll be here talking about it. But for right now, this is all I got about the Walking Dead season 3. So yeah, tell me your thoughts about what you like to see below. And join me next week for another Walking Dead Wednesday. Peace out.